Salute to all the viewers, all the subscribers, all the Patreon members. Want to thank you guys for your support. It really means a lot to me. If you could do me a favor, please hit that like button, share this video. We're still going along throughout the series, how to move in Thailand. Now, not so much how to move to Thailand. We're getting to that. We're starting off how to move to Thailand in the beginning. But this is the series on how to move in Thailand. All right. This is part 2, accommodation. So this is for the people who are planning to go to Thailand, whether they're visiting or moving. Because I'm seeing a lot of content creators moving to Thailand. I mean, people have always been relocating, visiting to Thailand for years. All right. I just want to give a blueprint and a guideline. Let me get this off the screen. I'm just giving a blueprint and a guideline. For those that don't know, I go by Splash, aka Splashway Beats. I've either been living or traveling abroad for the last 17 years. I lived in Thailand on and off for 8 years. All right, from 2014 to 2022. In between, I stayed in China and Taiwan in between that time. And I visited a whole bunch of countries in Asia. But I lived in Thailand on and off for 8 years. All right. So this is for the people who have not moved to Thailand just yet. They have not relocated to Thailand just yet. And you can still apply this for, short term, long term. If you're only going to stay 3 to 6 months, or if you plan on staying at least a year or more. You can still go to websites just like this, DD Property. This is a very popular one. There's another popular one that I just found out about. It's called Fazwaz. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering it. Fazwaz. I've never used this website before, but this seems to be popular. It's showing you pretty much all the different districts throughout Bangkok and the surrounding cities and the surrounding provinces, the surrounding areas. It's giving you square meters because they measure it by square meters. You can convert that. Or I'm pretty sure there's a tool on here where you can convert it to square footage. All right. This is 23 square meters. Very small. $500, 23 square meters. Where is this located? Where is this located? If I were you, I wouldn't pay $500 for 23 square meters. That's way too small. And, I'm going to show you how to go about searching for the perfect place to move to and to live in, depending on your budget and in certain districts. As you know, as time goes along, things increase. Inflation, tourism, things aren't going to be like how they were before the pandemic. All right. Things did take a dip during and right after the pandemic. Now that things have been back to normal for quite some time now, things are going to increase. And I don't want you spending $653 for 23 square meters if you don't have to. All right. Wait. Actually, I'm taking that. I'm reading this wrong. I apologize. $500 for 22 square meters. That's still that's too small. $653 for 29 square meters. That's still way too small. All right. $777 for 50 square meters. I had a 50 square meter apartment and I was only paying $350 for it. And I'll tell you which district that was in. All right. But for now, I'm going to take you back to DD Property. All right, because that's what I'm used to, DD Property. This website right here, everybody knows DD Property. Fazwaz is something I just found out about today. But a lot of people go through this website right here. And this is what you need to look out for before you travel and move abroad. Most people, like how we do in America, we like to plan things out in advance. All right. So let's say you plan on moving to Thailand in March April, let's say March, okay? In your mind, you're thinking, okay, I want to call this condominium complex right now and book something in advance. All right. You might say to yourself, like, hey, I want to give a 90 days notice. I want to call in advance. I just want to make sure that I'm prepared in advance so that when I show up, everything is ready for me. That's not how it goes in Thailand. That's really not how it goes in Asia. All right. There's a certain way they do things in Asia, especially in Thailand. What you need to do is you need to book a hotel for at least 1 week or maybe a couple of days. And if you do book for a week, make sure it's at a clean but cheap hotel, so that, let's say you check out within 3 or 4 days because you found a place to move to that you can afford to skip out on, 3 days or whatever, because it might have been $20 a night. So let's say you book for a week. On the fourth day, you found a spot to move to. You found a spot to move to. You can say, "Hey, man, you know what? That's $60. I paid 80. Actually, you paid 140, or you paid 210. Let's say it was $30 a night. Whatever. They could keep the $90. They could keep the $60. I'm not worried about it. You got to be able to spend a certain amount of money to be able to afford to lose whatever it is that you lost if you find a spot within a week. Because how they do things in Asia, especially in Thailand, when you make a phone call and inquire about a listing, all right? As a matter of fact, let's type in Bangkok, to show you what's actually rent. Let's type in Bangkok just to have some listings on the screen right here. Okay, damn. It's 441 square meters, 160,000 baht per month. All right, that's about $4,000. This is about $4,000 a month right here. Grand Bangkok. I think this is not too far from Nonton Body. All right. So you can find things within your range, 21,000 baht. How many square meters is this? 30. That's in Hue Quang. So yeah, that's usually what it's going for in Hue Quang. Okay. Let me click on this. All right. Let me go back. Hold on. All right, let me show a listing. All right. Hold up. Okay, so when you call up in advance, let's say you look at a property like this. All right, 27 square meters, 16,000 baht a month. That's about $400 a month. You're like, okay, this is cool. I could deal with something like this. You want to see it in person because a lot of these apartments, the people who post these pictures on DD Property and other websites, they do a lot of photoshopping. All right, it looks clean, tidy, brand new on the picture. When you get there in person, right, you'll see, okay, damn, them pictures, they were photoshopped. All right, I've seen that many, many times. One of the most important things when you look at a listing is you need to find out what year this building was built. All right. They usually have it on the listing. They usually tell you right here. If not, you could just call, or you could send them a message on Line Messenger. So like I said, before you move to Thailand, you need to download Line Messenger. Okay. Line Messenger. Usually they tell you when the building was built. If it doesn't tell you in the listing, you could just ask. Right? As soon as you ask, you say, hey, this listing right here, did somebody live in this room prior? You know, has somebody previously lived in this condo right here? If they say yes, then ask, what year was this building built? If they say, all right, this was built in 2015, then more than likely this photo right here is Photoshop. If they say 2025, then more than likely this picture just might be true to the photo. Okay, true to how it looks. All right, right here it says built in 2015. Okay, it looks cool. That furniture looks kind of dingy and old. When you get there in person, you're gonna see a lot of flaws. So I advise you. Oh, I know where this is at. I know where this is at. Like I said, most of this right here, this picture, it looks old. It looks like this photo was posted as soon as they were done building the property. This photo looks about 10 years old. When you get there, this is why you need to get there in person. Right? You don't want to book anything in advance. You don't want to pay for anything in advance. That's why you need to book a hotel first, get there, see it in person, and move in. But let's say you say, hey, you know what? I want to have something lined up before I get there. You cannot do it 3 months in advance. All right? Unless you feel like paying for it and making monthly payments in those 3 months, and then you get there. If not, if you say, nah, I just want to inquire about it, how much to hold it until I get there, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that for you. It's not like in America where you pay a fee to hold the apartment or the condo, and then you have a certain amount of time to move in. That's not how it works. There's not a holding fee. In Asia, and that's nowhere you go to in Asia. In Asia, they're going to tell you, look here, if you don't have the money that we're asking for by today, right? When you call and somebody comes through tomorrow morning with an offer and they come through to do a walk around and they like it and they make an offer right then and there, I'm giving it to the person that comes through in the morning. So your little holding money, we don't care about that. When you move to Thailand, in general, they want 3 months rent. So 2 months rent, 1 month deposit, that's 3 months rent. So this 80,000 baht per month spot right here, which is around about, was that like $2,400, $2,300? You're going to have to drop 240,000 baht just to move in this spot right here. You have to drop 240,000 baht. Then you got to pay next month's rent, 80,000 baht every month after that. That's how it works in Thailand. All right. Then, and remember, I said this on a previous video. When you move out and you're looking to get that deposit, good luck. They're going to make all kind of excuses why they can't give you the full amount, even if everything is in tip-top perfect shape, just exactly how it was when you moved in or right before you moved in. They're going to find every excuse to subtract some sort of fee from whatever it is that they owe you. All right. So do not call in advance. They don't like that. They're just like, yeah. As a matter of fact, if you try to call in advance, okay, can you come here tomorrow? They're going to be like, nah, I'm going to be there in March. they're going to hang up the phone on you and they're probably going to block you. Hey, I don't give a damn about March. I need money now. That's just the culture over there. All right. Know which districts you want to move to. All right. So we got that out the way. Don't call in advance. Show up with a hotel booking for at least a week. Then do your search in person. Know your budget. Have 3 months worth of rent, in hand to give to them. So just triple. That's how much you got to pay up front. So triple whatever the listing is. So if your budget is $400 a month, which is fine, you need to have $1,200 in hand ready to give to the owner. And then you pay $400 a month every month after that. Then you pay rent every month after that. Okay. Usually water bill for just one person on average, it's about 100 baht, maybe 100 to 150 baht per month. This is going off of when I last lived there, which was 3 years ago. So that's like $3 to $5 a month. The internet bill, it all depends, like your Wi-Fi, it all depends on who you go with. It all depends on the building. You can't just pick whatever internet company you want to go with, right? The building's going to tell you, we offer this building is through this company over here. This internet company over here. We offer this Wi-Fi. It might be True. It might be, what's the other one? I know True Mobility is one of them. There's multiple different internet companies. It all depends on the building, right? I think depending on your usage. So if you're coming through with a PC build, you're gaming, you're streaming, you need fast upload, man, you're probably going to spend like maybe $50 to $60 a month, the most, on internet. If you just need enough to get by, it's still high-speed internet, but you're not uploading anything crazy, then about $20 a month. 700 baht, 800 baht a month, right? So 20 baht a month, $15 to $20 a month on the low end, $50 to $60 on the high end for internet. All right. Now, your electricity bill, it all depends on how much you run that fan, right? My electricity bill, whenever I went, it was usually between 1,000 baht to 1,500 baht a month. So $30 to $45 a month. All right. So add all that in to your rent, and that's how much you're going to pay every single month. All right. I was usually gone a lot. That fan, I would run that fan constantly when, I was at home and throughout the night. Then I would turn it off when I would leave. All right. I know people, they would just leave that fan on all day. I wouldn't leave the fan on all day. All right. So being at home, let's say Monday through Friday, you're gone about 9-10 hours out of the day, and then you're spending 14 to 15 hours at home. Be prepared to spend about $30 to $40 a month on your electric bill. All right. Now, what else do I want to talk about? This is prepping. This just knowing off the top of my head before you even relocate to Thailand. But just have that in the back of your mind. Don't spend money until you see for yourself the area and the condo you want to live in. Trust me. Because you're going to be fooled by these pictures. You want to see this in person. I'm warning you right now. All right. Let's see. All right. So let's look at a map, a Google map of Bangkok and the surrounding area. So you see this red dotted line right here. Okay. This is the Bangkok boundary. This is the boundary line of Bangkok. Okay. If you're within the city limits of this red dotted line right here, and this is Bangkok, all right, immigration is going to be at Cheng Watana. You're going to have to go to Cheng Watana, meaning, and I explained this in the last video about Cheng Watana, Immigration Division 1. It's way up here. So I used to live in Bang Na. This is the Mega Bang Na Mall right here. And I used to live right here, right? Not too far from the freeway that would take you to Mega Bang Na. So every 90 days, when I have to do a report, an address report, I used to have to travel way up here every 90 days. It got to the point where I said, man, look, after 90 days, whenever I have to do my yearly renewal for my visa, I'll just pay the late fee for my 90 days when I do, because they'll let you pay the fee. So you can skip the 90-day renewal on your address, and you're not going to get deported if you skip out on a 90-day renewal. Just to update to let them know, okay, I still live over here. I shouldn't be telling y'all this, but I am. They're not going to deport you if you don't go there every 90 days and tell them, yeah, I still live over here. They're just going to make you pay a fine when you do your, let's say your work permit renewal, your business visa renewal, your retirement renewal, or your elite visa renewal, right? They're just going to make you pay, how much is it? Maybe like 2,000 baht, $60. And it's like, all right, whatever. But who knows? I don't know what your finances are looking like. Okay. At one point in time, I said, hey, Bang Na is one of the best places to live in. You got a really nice mall over here, great hangout spot. Savannah Bhumi Airport is not too far from Bang Na. You're pretty close to the airport. You're still off this main train line right here, the Sky Train, right? And it's a pretty good area. But if you live in Bang Na, you're still going to have to go to Division 1 to handle everything. Okay? I used to live in Nonthaburi. They have a lot of nice houses over in the Nonthaburi area. Really nice. You're going to have to spend a little bit more than an area that I'm going to suggest to you. But if you could find a brand new house, still wrapped in plastic, I would say go to Nonthaburi, but their immigration office, the Nonthaburi immigration office, is still a pain to go over there to do your renewals and to get your visas also. It's still a pain to go over there. The guy, if he's still there, the main officer that runs that immigration office, I don't like him at all. He's a goofy. And I'm saying this right now. I don't care. I don't like the guy who runs that immigration office over in Nonthaburi. If you live in Nonthaburi and your address says that, don't go to Division 1. Okay? So I used to live right, where's this red dotted line? Right, I used to live like right by Central Cheng Watana. Right? I used to live not too far from here. Central Cheng Watana Mall is in Nonthaburi. It's not in Bangkok. So even though Division 1 is right up the road, You don't go to Division One to handle all your visa processing. Okay, you got to go to the non-Tunbury immigration processing office, and let me tell you, both of them are a pain in the ass to deal with. Immigration One, I'll put it this way: Immigration One, they do their best to get you in and out as quick as possible. The only problem is if you want to get in and out as quick as possible in Division One, you're going to have to get there at 5 o'clock in the morning and make sure all your paperwork is correct. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to hold your spot. That's the only problem. The doors open up at 8:30, so they might see you like at 9 o'clock, but you've already waited five hours. But once they see you at 9 o'clock, you're probably in and out within 15, 20 minutes, depending on what it is that you need to get done. Right? If your paperwork is not right, they're going to send you back, and then you got to go back the next day. So don't wait till the last day to handle your paperwork over at these immigration offices, because if the next day your visa is expired, there's no telling what they might do. Hopefully they have enough compassion to give you an extension, to be like, oh, okay, I'll give you a pass, just come in the next day, I'll stamp it and be like, okay, you came in yesterday, you just had to come back and do this. All right. But there's nice houses in non-Tunbury. So it's a little bit cheaper than Bangkok. It's still expensive, but it's a nice area. Where's Rangsit? Rangsit used to be a good area. There's Future Park Mall. That's a cool little hangout spot. Condos in this area. And Rangsit, it's outside of Bangkok. This is the Rangsit area. There's a train line that comes up to Rangsit, so that's good for anybody who needs to go in the city. But, you know, the availability of these condos, the occupancy of these condos, it's packed, right? When I went back in 2022, I could not find a place to live in Rangsit like I could in 2018, 2019. I used to live, where's the university? I used to live right across the street from Bangkok University, right here at Cave Condo. All right, I used to live in Cave Condo. It was a pretty nice spot when I was living there. But where I was working in Rangsit, so it wasn't too far. I didn't have to go into Bangkok every day. Well, actually, I would, because I had like 3 jobs. I was teaching at language centers and I was teaching at schools. So I was making money hand over fist. All right. The area I suggest for you guys, if the commute isn't bad, is, where is it? Samut Sakhon. I used to live in Samut Sakhon. There's a train line, not a sky train, but an actual train, right, that runs to Samut Sakhon. It's very cheap. And it'll take you to Icon Siam Mall. So Icon Siam Mall is a really nice mall. There's a train that'll take you there. But I'll show you what, idealistically what the houses look like in Samut Sakhon. So I used to live in a house that looked just like this. And how much was I paying to live in a house just like this in Samut Sakhon? I was only paying like $300 a month to live in a spot just like this. Okay. So this is Lake Serene, Ramatu. Everybody posts up their listings with different prices. It all depends on the owner. Right? Some owners that want to make more. Some owners, they don't really need the money. They just kind of want to break even or make a little bit more on the back end. They're only seeing maybe $100 extra every single month. Right? Some owners want to see a little bit more. For a house like this, for only $25,000 baht a month, this is actually pretty good. But I was living in a house like this for only $12,000 baht a month. and that's like $350. These houses in Samut Sakhon, they're very spacious, but be prepared to put in your own furniture. The only furniture that was available for me in a house like this when I moved into, I couldn't even find the old house. I couldn't find a picture of the old house I used to live in. But the only furniture that they had in there was like they had a TV and they had a couch. That was it. The spot I lived in, it didn't even have a refrigerator. It didn't have nothing. It didn't have a sink. It didn't have cabinets. You got to install all that stuff in there. All right. Upstairs, they did have a bed, and that was it. All the other furniture, you have to purchase it yourself. But it's affordable. So each room had a fan. Didn't have a stove. I had to buy my own stove. Didn't have a dishwasher, nothing. All right. But that's the game of give and take you play with some of these houses. Because I moved into a spot that didn't have appliances, that's why it was $12,000 about a month. But with appliances, it's just ready to move in. That's where this price comes in, $25,000 about a month, which is very, very cheap compared to the amount of space that you get. All right. And this is what the neighborhood looks like. So typically, people that move into places like this, they either have a car or they have a motorbike. You could just park your motorbike in the front. In the time when I was going to move into my home, when I did move into my home, I was actually going to buy a pet. But my contract got canceled with the company that I was with. Another company had taken over that contract at that school. I was actually going to go with that other company, but that other company, they was dragging ass with their contract. So I just went with the company that I originally signed a contract with, and they sent me back to Rungsit. All right. But Samut Sakhon, it's in a good area. I like the area. It still has a little bit of a rural feel, but it's still populated. If you don't have, like, let's say you move into a house like this and they don't have a washer and dryer, there's a bunch of portable washer and dryers in the area. They don't cost that much. They're pretty decent. People pull up on their motorbike with their laundry and they wash clothes. It's not too expensive. All right. Having a home, you could decorate your spot with your furniture the way you want. If you're a content creator, you could designate a room just for content, for streaming or making videos, or, you can have a room that's designated for your business, your online job, or your business, right? And you could keep the master bedroom for yourself. You can basically use any room for whatever you want to use it for. But I like Samut Sakhon. If you care about space, you're not worried about the location too much. Let's say you're not going to Thailand for a job. You're going to Thailand for content creation, or you're a digital nomad and you're looking for a home. Samut Sakhon is a pretty good area. They have a nice mall in Samut Sakhon. They got good food over there, nice marketplace, a movie theater. They pretty much have everything you want and need in Samut Sakhon. And whenever you want to go into the city and go to a bigger mall like Icon Siam, you could just take the train over there. I think the train, I think it's probably like 7 or 9 baht to get into town. It takes about 30, 40 minutes. It's not like a high-speed rail or anything like that. It takes its time and it makes stops to pick up people. It takes about 30, 40 minutes to get near Icon Siam, the mall. All right. But again, that on the map, Samut Sekon is right here. I've never been to the immigration office, but I like this area a lot. All right. I like the area a lot. And then when I would ride along on a motorbike in this area to get to where I need to go, I saw other neighborhoods with nice houses. I'm like, damn, this is even nicer. All right. Hue Quang, I used to live in Hue Quang. That's near the Ding Dang area. I literally used to live within walking distance of this mall right here, the Street Ratcheta Mall. Things have gone up in this area. Look to spend about $400, $400 to $500 for like a 26 or 28 square meter apartment. This is a very busy district. There's an MRT line right alongside Hue Quang. All right, where's this is a Hue Quang MRT station. So let me show you where I used to live at. I used to live right here. Yeah, I used to live, this is IDO Hue Quang right here. I used to live in this condo right here. It was very nice, but I was spending like $500 a month. Right, I was spending about $500 a month to live here. It was a very small apartment, but I was next to everything. Okay, be careful at this intersection right here. I saw a major accident. What is this? I did not want to. I did not want to go over here. All right. I used to walk along these streets up and down almost every single day when I lived in Hue Quang. Hue Quang is a very, very good area. Just be prepared to spend a little bit of money. Be prepared to spend at least 20 to 25,000 baht per month for a decent apartment. So 20,000 baht, that's around about $600 to $700 a month for an apartment. And with that kind of money, you'll get a really, really nice apartment or a really nice condo. I used to walk along this sidewalk almost every single day. All right. If you're trying to get somewhere in the morning, you need to get to where you're going before 7 o'clock, especially on that MRT line. So the subway line is underground. You need to get to where you're going before 7 o'clock in the morning, because by 7, that's when rush hour hits and you're going to be waiting in a long line. I don't care if you don't need to get there till 9 o'clock in the morning. If you leave anytime after 7, you're going to get stuck, even if you take a cab. So the only way you're going to quickly maneuver through traffic is if you take a motorbike taxi. Okay. So this guy's probably riding with his friend, but motorbike taxis, they look like this. They wear the orange reflective vest. They'll ride on a motorbike just like this. And that's the cheapest way to get from, well, actually the second cheapest way to get from point A to point B and to maneuver through traffic, but it's the quickest if you don't want to wait for 10 trains to go by to catch a subway line or the subway train on the underground line. But I know some people, they don't feel comfortable riding on a motorbike. I get it. And it's very, very dangerous to ride on a motorbike in Thailand. It's one of the most dangerous roads to ride on. This is the street mall right here. I used to go here all the time. All right. I've talked about this mall. I used to take my girl up here all the time. There's a pretty good food court in here upstairs. Then you have Big C. Big C is kind of like the Walmart of Thailand. I went there a few times, but it wasn't for me. If I needed something quick, right? If I needed like a broom or a mop, I would get it from Big C. It's kind of like Walmart. But the grocery store, I will go to Signature, and I'll show you that in a different video. But this is the Ding Dang Hue Quang area. All right. Then you're going down to the business district. But the closer you are in the center, because down this road is Terminal 21. Terminal 21 Mall. Then when you hit this intersection and you get to Terminal 21 and you make a right, then that's when you hit Nana. You keep on going down. That's when you hit Siam Paragon Mall, the most popular area in Bangkok. All right. So if you live in this area, be prepared. Or if you move into any one of these condos right here, they're very nice, but you're going to spend $700-800 a month. If that's not within your budget, you can still find stuff that's affordable. It's just not going to be as nice as, these condos over here. But you're living in a very, very good area. Okay. You come down here, and this is Central Rama 9 Mall, which is very nice. And then across the street is Fortune Town. Fortune Town is like the electronic district, or the electronic mall. So if you need to get some computer parts, you need your phone fixed, you want to buy some music equipment, you can get it all in here. Guitars, DJ equipment, keyboards, build a PC, buy a camera. You could buy it all right here. Oh, they got the cleaners. That's a nice shot. Okay, and Central Rama 9 Mall is a very nice mall also. Right? Then if you go down a little bit further, they got some nice gyms. This is a nice area. It's a nice area. But like I showed you, let me go back. Hue Quang if you have a little bit of money to spend, Hue Quang is a really good district. If you have even more money to spend, Central Rama 9 is a good area to live in. All right. If you have even more money to live in, or more money to spend, excuse me. Where is it? Where's Siam? I can't find it. Where is Siam? Well, I can't find Siam, but it's along this area right here. All right. Actually, I'll take that back. Chitlom. If you can spend thousands per month on an apartment, then Phnom Chit, Chitlom, and Siam are good areas to move to. All right. But if you're on a budget and you need something nice, you want space, you don't really care too much about the distance, Samut Sekon is a good area. Uh, if you want to be around a good mall, a good hangout spot, Mega Bangna, the Bangna area is a good area. This right here is a really nice mall, and they have a bunch of cafes and restaurants to hang out at. It's a good spot to hang out with your lady. They have everything here. Gym. Remember, I told you the malls, you got to position yourself next to a mall in Thailand, in Bangkok, because the mall is the center of entertainment for everything. The movie theater is in the malls. Um, this mall right here has an IKEA. They have, of course, they have food courts. They have computer shops where you could build a PC if you need a PC for, your streaming equipment, if that's what you're into, or a PC for your business at home, if that's what you're into. They got it at the mall. The gyms, Big C is in this mall. All right. They have grocery stores in this mall. There's another grocery store, another high-end grocery store. It's not signature, it's something else, but really nice at Mega Bangna. They have everything. If you want to buy a pet, you could buy it at this mall. If you want to buy a scooter, you could buy it at this mall, right? Everything is in the mall. So you got to position yourself next to a mall that has everything. And this is why I say Mega Bangna. The Bangna area is a good area, right? There's another mall right here, Central Bangna. It's not as good as Mega Bangna, right? They have a bus if you need to take the bus over there. All right. But sometimes, there's heavy traffic along this freeway right here. So if you got a scooter or if you're willing to pay for a motorbike taxi to get over here, do that. But Bangna is a great place to position yourself so that you can come over here, and it's cheaper than Hue Quang, right? I showed you Hue Quang. Position yourself next to Central Ramanine Mall, the Street Ratchet Mall, right? Then down this way is Terminal 21 Mall, all right? Emporium, M Quartier, really nice malls. Position yourself next to these malls right here. Where is Rongsit? Rongsit, if you can find housing, accommodation in Rongsit, good, because then you can position yourself next to Future Park. It's not as good as Mega Bangna, but everything is here. Remember, all the banks, if you need to handle something with your bank, it's in the mall. All the banks are in the mall. Like everything is in the mall. So this is a good area to position yourself in. Notanbori has Westgate. Where is Westgate? Central Westgate, right? This is a good area this is like Mega Bangna. Okay. Hold on, I'll show you. So look at this, right? Position yourself next to a major mall. Everything you need and want is in this mall, right? You want to take piano lessons. You want to take language lessons. You want to learn the Thai language, Korean, whatever. They have all of that at these malls. So position yourself there, right? So if you want to move to Nontambori, position yourself close to or nearby this mall. They got a decathlon. I like decathlon, but not for Thailand. I would buy a bunch of decathlon stuff in Taiwan, right? Because I'm not going camping, anything like that in Thailand. Not for that. All right. And Samut Sakhon, there's a central somewhere Um, there is I can't find it. There's a Central Mall somewhere in Samut Sakhon. Is this it? Yeah, this is it right here. Central Manachai. I used to go here. Right, everything I needed was right here. All right. But out of all these places, if you got money and you want to be in the city, go to, I would suggest, where is it? There's Ding Dang. I would suggest Hui Kwong, Ding Dang, the Ding Dang or Hui Kwong area. All right. If you on a little bit of a budget, Bangna, definitely Bangna. All right. If you really on a budget, but you want something real nice and you don't care about the distance, Samut Sakhon. Find a house. Okay. And if, to refresh your memory, what do some of the houses look like in Samut Sakhon? They look like this. All right. You could get something like this for, if it doesn't have any furniture, remember 12, 15,000 baht a month. If it's fully furnished, 20, 25,000 baht a month. All right. So I'm over and I'm out. You guys take care. Hope that helped. Peace. Oh, one more thing. I forgot. Do not, and I remind you, do not, if you do have money, do not look at the listing and say, oh, this is only $300 a month. Well, shit, I got enough money to pay this off for the entire year. Do not do that. Do not pay anything off in advance. Do not do that. All right? Because, owners, they get real lazy. These landlords, they get real lazy. If there's an issue with your building and your condo, right, the owner needs to fix it. Some of these owners, they get real lazy and tell you, well, that's not my problem. I don't know why. Deal with it. Or it wasn't like that before you moved in. No. Once they have their money, a lot of them feel like, I'm not going to do anything. Right? And you never know. There might be an emergency. You might have to go back home. Don't worry about them getting mad that you got to go back. Cover if you skip out on rent and then you leave the country. That covers them. Right? That's why they ask for so much in the beginning. Up front, right before you move in. But don't pay a year in advance because you never know what could happen. You might have to leave, and then when you ask for that money back, they're not going to give you the money. That money is long gone. All right? Or you ask them to fix things and they don't want to fix it. You're like, okay, well, give me my money back and I'll move someplace else. They're not going to give it to you. So even if you do have the money, pay a month at a time. Do not pay all at once. All right? Hopefully that helped. I'm over and I'm out. Peace.